Hi guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and I'm here today with my cat Shade. And today I'll be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. I wanted to do this tag even though I've only read 6 books so far this year. This will be my 7th book as soon as I'm finished with it. I'm so close to finishing, Court of Mist and Fury, and so far I'm absolutely loving A Court of Mist and Fury. I didn't know that I love the Hayes and Stephanie tale as much as I do in this one because it's a retelling of that, but we'll see how it goes. So far, they're like my favorite new character ensemble is the Night Court, which is one of these questions, but I've been reading this one and audiobooking it at the same time because I work for 9 hours a day, so I definitely have to audiobook while reading this, or else, let's face it, I'm not gonna get done. But let's start with the questions. Question 1. Best book of 2017 you've read so far? For this one I have 2 answers. One, I have Looking for Alaska by John Green, which I read an audiobook, and of course I couldn't do a tag without mentioning The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas because this book was such a great book, and I loved it so much. If you haven't picked this one up yet, I would definitely read it. It's a very tough read to get through. It'll give you so many emotions, but it's definitely worth the read, and definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Okay, so question 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2017. I've only read 1 sequel so far this year, and I'm currently reading it, so I guess this will be my best sequel so far this year, and that's A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. If you knew my Throne of Glass book review, you knew that I hated Throne of Glass. I absolutely despised it. Was thinking about quitting reading this offer, and then she made A Court of Mist, not A Court of Mist and Fury series, but Court of Thorns and Roses, and I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan, and I heard it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so I got it, I picked it up, and I heard this was a Hayes and Persephone retelling, so since I loved A Court of Thorns and Roses so much, I picked up A Court of Mist and Fury, and so far it's pretty cool. I like the scenes of her in Rhysand. It's like, I didn't hate them as a couple. I didn't start shipping them until the last part that I've read in this one, wherever he's having a certain situation happens between them, but if for people who have read this book, it's a situation that happens in chapter 38. I didn't start shipping them until that moment because it might be tropey, but I love when books do that, and I love those situations, so now I'm shipping them. Totally. I'm not really a huge Tamlin fan. I wasn't a huge Rhysand fan until this book, but I do admire Rhysand for what he does for his community and stuff, and I'll be having a review for this up soon, as I finish it. Next question. Question is, new release you haven't read yet, but want to. Ooh, this one's a tough question, because I do have a lot of books that I still have to read, but so far, A Court of Wings and Ruin is definitely on my list. I'm totally binging A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and A Court of Wings and Ruin is the last book I need to read, so that's definitely on the new releases I have to read. Stuff, as well as the next book I'll probably be starting, that's a physical book, because I don't have an ebook for it where I'm listening to, is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I did not like Daughter of Smoke and Bone, but since I didn't like Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I totally did a 180 on her other book series, I decided to give Laini Taylor another chance by reading Strange the Dreamer. Dreamer, so I'll definitely be picking this one up to see if I like it. But if I don't like it, I think I'm done with Laini Taylor. Laini Taylor's writing. Let's see. Do I have another new release here? Oh yeah, and last but not least, well, not least on the new releases I definitely must get to that I really want to read is The You I've Never Known by Ellen Hawkins. This book came out maybe 3 or so months ago, and I absolutely love Ellen Hawkins as a writer. I've read almost all her books except 3 of them. 3 of them, and I heard this one's pretty good, so fingers crossed, and please don't get on the keyboard, Shady. Okay, so fingers crossed that I'll enjoy this one too. So I'll definitely have to get on that. One moment while I fix this. Oh yeah. Okay. So next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I actually don't have any book that I'm anticipating for release. Second half of the year. Sheesh. I really don't know. I haven't kept up with new releases of 2017 yet, so I'm not 100% sure what books are being released. At least I know what book of 2018 I want so far, and that's the 3rd book in the Ember and the Ashes series. It hasn't titled yet. We haven't got a title, we haven't got a release date. All I know is it's sometime in 2018, and I really want it in my possession because I really want to see what happens to these characters. But so far in 2018, the only one I know I want is the new Kale novel by Sarah J. Maas, because I didn't like Throne of Glass, but I loved Kale. So maybe I would like that book. Who knows? Biggest disappointment. And my biggest disappointment is actually a library book that I got, and it was Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Now, I know Gillian Flynn is a popular author, and while this book wasn't necessarily a bad book, I just felt like nothing happened in this book. And a book that's supposed to be about a supposed brother supposedly murdering their whole family, and a plot. It was marketed to me as a crime novel with some satanic elements in it, and I don't really know a lot about Satanism, so I was intrigued to read it, but but I read it, and they chose one of the easiest payoffs to this book, and I hated it. I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I didn't really like it. And another disappointment for me was A Girl Who Fell by S.J. Parker, I believe her name was. No, sorry, S.W. Parker. This book wasn't necessarily a bad book, like I said. It was just a book about a abusive relationship, whether it be physical or emotional abuse, and I thought they should have done a better job about it, about character development, and actually getting me to believe. It's like, this guy is a bad guy. No guy should treat a girl like this ever, but it took a long time to get into the actual emotional / physical abuse of the book, and I know there aren't signs at first about it. They usually take you by surprise, but I didn't really like any of the characters in this book either. It was just an okay book, and I really wanted it to be great. It didn't really meet my expectations, so it wasn't a bad book, it was just a disappointing one. Biggest surprise. My biggest surprise has to go to another library book that I got, which was Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I didn't expect to like this book as much as I did. But I was really surprised by how it worked out. And also another biggest surprise was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Because like I said, I didn't like Throne of Glass. I hated Selena Saltorian so much as a main character that I didn't really want to give Sarah J. Maas another chance. But I picked up this book series because I heard it was really great, and I've been seeing it all over BookTube, so I picked it up. And I didn't regret picking this one up, so it was very surprising. Also, another one for biggest surprise is Looking for Alaska by John Green, because oh my god, that book. I've actually listened to an audiobook, but now I actually want a physical copy of Looking for Alaska because it's a really great book. And I can see why it's a Nobel Prize winner. Let's see. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? I would have to go with Angie Thomas from Hate to Give for this one, because I loved her writing style, and Star was such a great character. I totally love Star, and I felt really close to Star, even though we're from different stretches of community and other stuff, but I loved this book so much, and her character development was so awesome. Even the side characters were awesome in this book. And I really hate that I don't have a book discussion for this one, but I don't think I'll be putting a book discussion for the Hate to Give Up for personal reasons, but I totally love it. Would definitely give it 9.5 out of 10 stars. 10 stars, mostly because there was one character in here that I really hated. I had to put passion, and usually, yeah, I don't like characters I hate. It wasn't even a hate to love situation, it was just I really hate that character. Newest fictional crush. Oh, this one is a good one. Because I haven't really read a lot of swoon-worthy crushes lately. But if I had to pick one, it would be, did you think I was going to say Rysand or Tamlin? Nope. I would pick Lucian from A Court of Thorns and Roses series, because I love his sarcasm, and it's really amazing. It's great. I just love it. Love it. Next question. Is a book that made you cry. Do I really have to say this one? This one made me cry so much. This one made me cry. It made me laugh. It made me so pissed off at so many points. This book definitely gets this, as well as Looking for Alaska by John Green. Because I didn't cry during Looking for Alaska by John Green, but I cried after the book as I was processing the book in my mind, and oh my god, I cried so much at Looking for Alaska, and I cried a lot at The Hate You Give, and these two books deserve the prize of books that made you cry, because it did. Book that made you happy. I've been read a lot of happy books, but if I had to pick a book that made me semi-happy, it would be Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. That one was a pretty good book. It made me happy, as well as A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, because I already had a book in Tamlin's World. That was okay, but I really love the Night Court. If I had a question that said favorite new ensemble of characters, I would definitely pick the Night Court from A Court of Mist and Fury, especially Moore. Moore is my favorite. She's my baby. Baby, I love her so much. As well as Cassian. Cassian is a pretty good person. I don't really know Azrael that well to say he's one of my favorites. Favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year? It wasn't a book to film adaptation as much as it's a book to TV show adaptation, and for that, I'm gonna have to give it to 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. They did this story so well, and they added on to the story, and I loved it so much. If I had to pick my favorite TV series of this year, 13 Reasons Why would definitely be on the list, because it gave me a good book to TV show adaptation that I've been hoping for. Usually my favorite book to TV show adaptation is The Vampire Diaries, But since it ended this year and it ended with a way that I loved slash hated because it was really cliche, I would have to say 13 Reasons Why was my favorite of the year. And it was surprising because I thought I would hate it because 13 Reasons Why is one of my favorite books. I read it when I was in middle school. It's actually one of my first books that I read, so. Favorite review you've written this year. Book 2 version, favorite video you've done so far this year. I would have to say my 13 Reasons Why talk because I put a lot of thought into doing that one because I had the differences between books and movies. And my favorite thing I've done so far is my book versus movie stuff. Or book versus TV show stuff. I loved that video so much. Yeah. That's definitely one of my favorites. Most beautiful book you bought so far this year or received. Sheesh. Well, Strange the Dreamer is definitely beautiful covers. I definitely love the Court series covers too. If I had to pick my most beautiful cover that I have in front of me right now, and this is actually a really surprising favorite cover, and that's Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Sapia. I like this cover. It's really different. I like how different it is. I like the animations right here because she's a webcomic designer. And if I had to pick another one besides that one, where is that book? I think this is gonna be on a lot of people's list of favorite book covers this year, but that's Carvel by Stephanie Garber. Now you see, I've only read so much of Carvel because I got really bored of it, and for a circus story, I didn't really find it very interesting so far. So I hope I don't have to DNF it, but if I have to DNF it, I will. It really just depends. And ooh, final question. Let's see. What books do you need to read by the end of this year? Oh my gosh. Well, first off, I need to end this series. I need to finish A Court of Mist and Fury, and I have to read A Court of Wings and Ruin, by Sarah J. Maas. I have this whole shelf right here. This is my gonna need to be read by the end of this year shelf. I got It Gets Worse by Shane Dawson. I have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Say What You Will by Cami McLoverlin. I have Prisoners of Night and Fog by Anne Blankman. I have Armada by Ernest Cline. I got a few audiobooks to read to get through too. I have and some of these audiobooks I actually have on my shelves right here, so I'm gonna be doing those two. Yes, I have Carrie by Stephen King, Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider, By Your Side by Casey West, Attachments by Rainbow Rowell, The Shining by Stephen King, Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, which is right here, Life and Death, Landline by Rainbow Rowell, Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson, This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, Easy by Tamara Webern, Assassin's Heart by Sarah Evers, Ruby Red by Kristen Gear, Hopeless by Colleen Hoover, The Edge of Never Finding Cinderella by Colleen Hoover. The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. The Fault of Our Stars by John Green. The Silence of the Lamb by Thomas Harris. The Kiss of Deception by Pearson. Sorry, I don't know. Beauty Queens by Libra Bray. The Duff by Cody Keplinger. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Boundless by Cynthia Hand. Anya and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. A Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin. Passenger by Alexander Bracken. The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. The Giver by Lois Lowry. Alright, Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. A Child Called It. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Rebel of the Sands. The Book Thief by Pierre Volk. The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. P.S. I Like You by Casey West. When You're Ready by J.L. Berg. Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. The Good Girl by Mary Kibuka. The Summer I Turned Pretty. Pretty More Happy Than Not by Elsa Vera. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Take Me On by Katie McGarry. The Selection by God, I don't know her name right now. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. The Distance Between Us by Casey West. City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. What Happened to Goodbye by Sarah Dessen. P.S. I Love You by Celia Arwen. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I Hunt Killers. Glass Swords by Victoria Aveyard. What Goes Around Comes Around by Courtney Summers. My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. A Fire and Stars by Corfers. Stephen King's It, which is definitely one I have to get to. When Dimple Met Rishi. The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicole Yoon. The Upside of Underquired by Becky Albertalli, as well as Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda. Eliza and Her Monsters. You by Carolyn Kepnes. Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The Girl of Fire and Thorns. Burning Glass. The Percy Jackson and the Lightning Theme by Rick Riordan. The Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan. The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. The Lies Beneath by Ellen Hawkins. The You I've Never Known by Helen Hawkins. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, featuring 2 other authors. Roseblood, Pushing the Limits, and last but not least, Lady Midnight. So there you guys have it. That was all my mid-year book Freakout. I hope you liked it. Sorry about the last part, it was all over the place. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!